What is up, guys? Delboy here. So Mikey Garcia defeats Sergey Lipinets by a unanimous decision to win the IBF Super Lightweight title. Now, this fight, in my opinion, was a very tough fight for Mikey Garcia, and a fight where, in my opinion, he didn't look that great at times. To me, going into this fight, the impression I got from Team Garcia was that they was taking this fight to become a four-weight world champion, and in doing so they're going to pick the weakest guy who has a belt at 140 to do so. You know, Sergey Lipinets was a guy who was very unproven. He only had 13 pro fights. You know, he's more of a kickboxer. Well, his background was actually being a kickboxer before he boxed, and overall we just didn't know too much about Lipinets and how good he was. We've seen a couple of his fights in the past against the likes of Akira Kondo and the Australian guy, I forget his name, but in those fights he looked okay, but he didn't look anything special. And I think Team Garcia looked at him and thought, well, this guy's going to be easy work for a title at 140, but it didn't turn out that way. I felt the pressure of Lipinets at times was getting to Mikey Garcia. He was pushing Garcia back, he was working the body on the inside. When Lipinets was on the inside, he was working quite well to the body actually, and having some success. Overall, I felt Garcia landed the better shots. He was the guy trying to keep range with his jab and right hand, and he was looking for that counter left hook. He was landing the flashier shots, the harder shots. I felt Garcia hurt Lipinets a lot more than Lipinets hurt Garcia, but you know, the work rate and the aggression from Lipinets was very impressive, and it won him some rounds. I actually felt this fight was a bit more closer than the scorecards indicated. I felt Lipinets had a lot of good moments in this fight. Best moment for Garcia was round 7, where he catches Lipinets with a lovely counter left hook that puts Lipinets on the seat of his pants. Lovely timed shot. That was his best punch of the fight, and he landed a couple of lovely uppercuts and right hands on Lipinets that stunned him. Overall, Garcia landed the more eye-catching hard shots, and like I said, I think Garcia hurt Lipinets more than Lipinets hurt Garcia, but the pure punch output of Lipinets and the pressure did definitely win him some rounds, and it gave Mikey Garcia a lot of trouble. I think this fight indicates that Garcia he can't hang at welterweight. He's talking about going to welterweight. I just can't see that happening. He's talking about Errol Spence. Listen, if you're struggling with Lipinets pressure, then Errol Spence is it's going to be a whole different ball game. Spence is bigger. He's better technically. He's a vicious body puncher. He's got power. You know, he's a big lump at the weight, and he's a dangerous fighter. So Mikey Garcia going up to welterweight to fight someone like Spence, that's a suicide mission as far as I'm concerned. He has no chance in that fight. So he needs to leave 147 alone. I don't think 140 is his optimum weight class, to be honest with you. I think he needs to go back down to lightweight. Don't get me wrong, Garcia can definitely compete at 140 and he can win more titles, but yeah, I just don't think it's the optimum weight for Mikey Garcia. I think he's a lightweight. He should be fighting the likes of Jorge Linares, Vasil Lomachenko, Robert Easter Jr., you know, guys like that. They're the guys he should be fighting, in my opinion. At 140, it's heating up, and guys like Prograis and even someone like a Josh Taylor could give him some issues. You know, he's gone through the divisions really quickly, and maybe too quickly. I feel he should go back down to a lightweight, and when he's done some more work at lightweight, then come back up to 140 and see where you go from there, kind of thing. But it was an okay performance. I felt Lipinets exceeded expectations. You know, I didn't really expect too much from Lipinets going into this fight. I felt Lipinets was a good fighter, but from what I saw of him in the past, he's decent at a certain level, and I felt his level was kind of lower top 10, just outside the top 10 of a division kind of level. That's kind of where I saw Lipinets, but he gave Garcia a lot of issues, and I want to see Lipinets in the ring again. As for Garcia, like I said, avoid 147. You're just not cut out for that weight class. If you're going to stay at 140, do you know what? I would love to see a fight with Kirill Relik, who beat Barthélemy on the undercard. That'd be a great fight. you've got the boxing style of Mikey Garcia, and you've got the pressure of Relic. And as we saw, the pressure of Lipinets got to Garcia at times. It's going to be interesting to see how he would handle somebody like Relic. You know, he's a good fighter. So yeah, I think this fight puts Mikey Garcia in perspective. I think a lot of people were kind of overrating him a little bit in a way, because people are talking about Mikey Garcia like he's a top 3 pound for pound fighter, but has he really got that win on the resume to indicate that? I wouldn't say so. He's got some decent wins on the resume, like I said. Lipinets is an okay win, as was Rocky Martinez, as was Salido, as was even Broner. These are good wins, but there's nothing on the resume that makes you think, wow, that was a great win. There's nothing on there. So I think people saying Garcia is top 3 pound for pound, that's a little premature to me, and he needs to do a bit more. I know he's won titles in 4 different weight classes, but again, you got to go back and look who he's won these titles against, and he's never really unified in the division either. So you need to look back and just take a back step and really evaluate Mikey Garcia. Does he really belong in the top 5 pound for pound? I don't think so yet, but that's just my opinion. We'll see how his career pans out. I still think he's beatable. I've said this for a long time, that I feel Garcia is beatable, and pressure could be one of those ways to do so. You know, even when you go back to the Salido fight, Garcia started brilliantly in that fight. He was boxing Salido's ears off. He dropped him multiple times, but he couldn't get him out of there. And as that fight wore on, Salido started to edge his way back in. But they had a clash of heads, and the fight got called a technical decision, and Mikey Garcia really got out of jail that night, because that fight was going south rather quickly. Not saying he would have lost it, but it was going a bit south. I think Garcia still has a bit to prove. I've still not jumped on the bandwagon. I think he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter to watch. He's a good puncher. You know, he's a good fighter. Don't get me wrong, but still feel he needs to show us a few more things. What do you guys think? Peace.